So I recently sold a few watches and I raided my savings, and I bought something that I think is pretty special. Not only that, but I recently got to meet the man whose name is on the dial. He's someone who's worked with some of the world's biggest watch brands, and he's customised watches for rock stars and royalty. Oh, and you might also know him as 1/3 of the team of About Effing Time. This isn't going to be my usual 7 or 8 minute video, guys, so grab yourself a drink and settle in. It's going to be a good one. So if you've been following the channel, you'll know that I've always loved the Heuer Monaco. In one of my first videos, I talked about the Caliber 12 Monaco that my wife bought me as a Christmas gift 10 years ago. There have been many versions of the Monaco over the last 50 odd years, since it was first seen on the wrist of Steve McQueen in that 1970 film Le Mans. But in my opinion, one of the very best is the Bamford Monaco. Bamford Watch Department made its name as a design house, specialising in customised watches as one-off commissions, before eventually being invited to collaborate with some of the world's biggest watch brands on limited edition pieces. One of these brands was TAG Heuer, and in 2018, the legendary Jean-Claude Biver invited Bamford Watch Department to collaborate on a new, modern and completely unique version of the iconic Monaco. The result was an ultra-modern interpretation, with a forged carbon case and a black and Bamford aqua blue colour combination, which is Bamford's signature colour, which I think looks absolutely wicked. The Bamford Monaco has been on my wish list ever since, but as a limited edition of just 500 pieces, they now trade on the secondary market for about double their original retail price. But what I only came to realise fairly recently is that Bamford Watch Department offers a personalisation service for the Monaco called Build Your Own. So you can literally specify the colour and finishing of the case, the dial, the colour of the hands, the subdials, the indices, even down to the colour of the stitching on the strap. And then the team at BWD will assemble the watch to your specification. So this, people, is my very own personalised Bamford Monaco. And I bet after all that build-up that you're glad I didn't say that I'd just gone and bought a modded Seiko. Unlike the 2018 edition, my Bamford Monaco has a stainless steel case finished in black MGTC, that stands for military grade titanium coating. And rather than using the Caliber 11 movement, the movement in mine is the more modern Heuer Caliber 02, which you can tell because it has the running seconds at the 6 o'clock position. It's a 4Hz movement and it's got 80 hours of power reserve, which is pretty impressive as many watch brands increase their power reserve at the expense of the frequency of the movement. I also think it's an attractive movement with some really nice decoration, and you can get to see it through the exhibition case back. So to mirror the 2018 Bamford Monaco, I wanted the same Bamford aqua blue and black colourway as that forged carbon edition, but this one has some subtle differences too, namely black indices and a black chronograph seconds hand. That black chronograph seconds hand is so super stealthy that it's almost illegible, so I might actually get that changed out for a white or a blue one at some time. The strap is a rally-style black perforated leather strap with blue stitching to continue the theme, and I think it's super comfortable when it's on the wrist. Now I bet that not many people can say that they've met the head of the brand whose name is on the dial of their watch, let alone the watchmaker that assembled it. But that's exactly what happened when I was recently invited by Bamford Watch Department to go to their HQ in Mayfair in London, the Hive as they call it. This place was like Santa's grotto for a watch nerd like me, and it's easy to imagine the rich and the famous that have passed through these doors over the years to commission customised watches. It's almost like a museum with incredible artefacts all over the place, including examples of all of their most famous collaboration pieces, and George Bamford's own collection of vintage stopwatches. Even the bathroom, with its chalkboard walls, is like a who's who of the watch world, with the messages that have been left by some of its visitors, including yours truly, of course. I also got to sit down and record an interview with George in the room that you might recognise from the About Effing Time YouTube channel, which George co-hosts with Adrian Barker and Andrew McUtchen. We had a really interesting discussion about our shared passion for some of the iconic Heuer models. George explained how the Bamford Monaco collaboration came about and what a turning point that was for his business. And he also reveals a few secrets from behind the scenes at About Effing Time. I hope you enjoy it, guys. Here it is. So I'm delighted to be here in the Hive with the one and only Mr. George Bamford.
It's an honour having you here. I'm so pleased to have you here. Monza. Awesome. I love the Monza. What a great watch. I think the Monza shape is awesome. What an awesome watch. I love seeing it on your wrist. Thank you for coming to the Hive.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Our townhouse in Mayfair. I know you're going to be having some time running around and seeing some things here today, so I'm really pleased that you started off with me. This is... But Monza, what a great shape of a watch. I mean, you think about TAG Heuer and Heuer's, the Camaro, the Kentucky, and all the other weird and wonderful cases. I mean, the Monza, and you brought your Monaco back into the Hive, and you think about these iconic shapes. Monza. I mean, what does the Monza mean for you?
Absolutely. I think the Monza for me is almost as iconic as the Monaco, because I just think that it is... Again, it's got a cushion-shaped case, which is quite unique in some ways. I think I love the story behind it. I think, and that's one of the things that really attracted me to the Monza, was actually the fact that it was released to commemorate Ferrari's first Formula One championship win for 11 years in 1976. And I think that, this reissue of it, which is the 40th anniversary one, I just think captures the spirit of that original watch.
No, I totally agree. I love the Monza, and I think the Monza is this one. I'm very lucky. I have a Monza as well. I wear it religiously, and it is another icon. TAG Heuer. If you think about design-wise, they've got quite a few good icons in there, and the Monaco, and you're bringing back the Monaco. So all black with our signature Bamford Aqua Blue. This is slightly, you're paying homage to the original carbon cased one that we did with TAG Heuer. We launched at Basel with Jean-Claude Biver on stage. I was very lucky to be on stage with him. But it is a different movement, and it is also, it's not the forged carbon case.
That's right.
But this is unique because this is yours.
Absolutely, and many people may not know, they may be familiar with the carbon case version.
Let me get that for you.
Absolutely, why not?
Let me pick it up, because it is actually sitting right behind us. So, forged carbon.
Such an awesome watch.
So, there is a few telltale differences. You've gone for a Predator second hand, chrono hand, really cool.
It's pretty stealthy, isn't it?
And then you've gone, because the original had Bamford Aqua Blue and white as a combination, and you've gone pure Bamford Aqua Blue and Predator Black, and I really think it's absolutely amazing when you see both of them standing by each other. They're really, really cool, because you see that this is about individuality, and that's what we create in the Hive. Yeah,
and this is one of the things that, again, many people don't know, but is that you offer a service where you can completely personalise and customise these watches to your taste, and literally even online with a configurator on the website, a bit like a car configurator.
Definitely.
Where you can choose the subdials, the colour of the hands, the indices, the whole lot. And I think it's just, you are almost playing a part in designing or creating your own version of that watch.
Well, the thing is, I think in life you don't want to be the same as everyone else. You
Absolutely.
think about a Monaco, it is an iconic piece. And, you mentioned that at the beginning. It is an iconic design. You think about there's not many big watches that you kind of go, wow, that's icon. And TAG Heuer have got one. This is the Monaco. They've actually got one or two.
Yeah.
And I think that when we look at icon on cases, you think about the brands that have got some great icons. And modern icon, I mean, I look at a modern icon, and I was talking to you earlier about the Bulgari Octo for Nisman.
Yeah.
I mean, you think that they have now got something that's recognizable across a room, and
Absolutely.
instantly someone will go, that's the watch. Now that for me is exactly what, but TAG Heuer, it's taken them, quite a long time to become this pure icon.
That's right.
Now,
1970, I think, wasn't it? Was first introduced. I mean,
so
but
you think about it is, firstly, in 1970, this was a big ass watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing is, when you look at it now, it's but we've seen bigger.
So what does a Monaco mean for you? So I know obviously what it means for me, but I'd love to know your journey with Monaco.
If you've heard this story before, I'm sorry, do not turn off, because you're watching something that I think is actually quite a fun point. But the original Monaco, Steve McQueen, Le Mans, and every weekend I would either watch Formula One or I'd watch Le Mans with my father. I know that he probably fell asleep, but I would sit in the crooks of his arm as a child, and I'd watch either Formula One cars whizzing past, or I'd be watching Le Mans. And I always thought to myself, especially with Le Mans, there was something in my mind about Steve McQueen with this kind of like squarish watch with these two subdials that just popped at me. And so when we were designing the forged carbon Monaco, those two subdials, I had to make sure that they had popped, especially in the out. And that's why at night this illuminates at night. Is the subdials illuminate, because it was that ingrained memory. As a child, I didn't really know about watches.
Sure.
I'd see them on people's wrists. It wasn't until I was in 1995 that I started kind of understanding about watches, when I took one a bit to bits. But for me, that's why we did this watch, was because I was like, please, can I do the Monaco? Can I? And
that must have been a dream come true moment, surely.
Honestly, it is
an
absolute pinch moment. And as a brand, it was like, you could see a pivotal point in my business career, and doing this was one of those things, and it was an absolute treat.
And how did this come about? So just give us a story in terms of how you got to the position of actually being able to put pen to paper with this.
What happened on this was, it took Jean-Claude Biver, an OG, to say, actually, yes, let's do something. He said to me, my business could be up. Shock horror, my business could be up. But the reason why he told me that my business could be up is because he said, watch brands are going to do personalisation. So you could either be, and I'm not being derogatory or bad to Kodak, but you could either be like Kodak, that invented the digital watch, digital camera, or you could be the person that pairs up and partners with the watch brands. You make that decision, because there's going to be a time point where you'll have to change.
And was this just him giving you advice, or was this his pitch to you to say, "Come on, George, let's do something together"?
It wasn't a pitch at all, because he didn't need to. He came into this office, and he just explained. He was talking to me. Now, firstly, you never say no to Jean-Claude Biver. You could never. He is a god.
I can imagine.
So anyway, I came into the office, and we were chatting, and I was chatting, and he goes, "Like, you start working with Zenith," and we did a project with Mr. Porter with Zenith, and then he said TAG Heuer as well, and I was like, it took some back and forth, and it took a lot of kind of, and at the point, my family thought I was mad, every part of my family was like, you're on one trajectory and you're making money, you're doing your thing. Don't
deviate.
Don't deviate. And my gut said jump, but also it took someone very dynamic. It also took a kind of life-changing moment in my life. And I, on About Effing Time, I've explained this point. But what happened was, it was a pivot point, and I pivoted from one point to another. And it took someone to put a hand on my back and say, "Are you okay?" And hey, you need to be in the sunlight. You don't need to be in the shade. And I was like, okay, now we change. And it was almost overnight. I went like that, and we changed our business very, very quickly.
But what an inspired move, really, to make and look at what's now come after that.
Hindsight's one of the best visions.
Absolutely.
But at the time, sleepless nights. One of the worst probably years of kind of as a business. Financially, I was like, what the hell are we doing? You know, all of these things that were, but now I look at it and I'm like going, oh yes, you know, I you know, I got sent some wonderful wall clocks from different brands. Well, you know, so pleased that you were
I thought
out.
you'd just been stealing these from ADs around the country. I didn't realise that you'd actually...
No, so this is kind of one of the things that a lot of the brands send me wall clocks. And it's just as a friend saying, and, you know, not working with, it doesn't, but it was a really nice thing. And I got letters from different CEOs saying, hey, you know... pleased that you've done this move. And so for me, I was the punk, and then I became something reality. And this for me is the embodiment. And I have a prototype of this watch that's says XXX on the back. That it is one of the watches that will never leave my collection. And I'm hoping the same with your brand new.
That's not going to be going anywhere.
Personalised Bamford Monaco. I love what you've done with this. I think it is absolutely amazing. I also think on the wrist, and now you said you told me that you got a bit of a kicking on some.
I did on the Blog to Watch Weekly podcast. In fact, actually yesterday, and I had a bit of an argument about the Monaco, and you know the guys there love them to bits. But they think that the Monaco is the most uncomfortable watch to wear. And even though I've got these tiny, skinny 6 1/4 inch wrists, I actually find it one of the most comfortable watches to wear. And I just think they haven't tried it for long enough, personally. But
look, I can say to them, I love a Blog to Watch. I think the guys are absolutely awesome. But you can go and F off on this. I'm really sorry. Because I think that this watch is beautiful. My wife wears it, I wear it. I think it is one of those icons versus other watches, and I think this is something that you've got to look. I'm wearing a Frank Muller today. I'm wearing a Snoopy Frank Muller, and people say that that's uncomfortable. I wear it and love it. You think about the differences of watches, but I would never. I'm not going to say to you, oh, you know, you should buy it because of this. Or you've got to try it. Try a watch on, see what suits you.
So you mentioned About Effing Time.
Yes.
So obviously, you know, you're a man of many talents. You've got a lot of things going on. You've got your own podcast. You've got About Effing Time. And I should say, we're actually in the room that About Effing Time is recording. Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about that journey and where that's going.
About the journey. Well, look, honestly, the journey is... it's happenstance. Honestly, Adrian and Andrew and myself we'd never met in the flesh. We are not best of friends before we did the podcast. Right. We're not. I think we are now, but before we didn't know really each other. We met at Watch and Wonders last year. We'd spoken before. I'd done a British Watch Alliance talk, and Adrian had interviewed me, and Andrew and I done a Time and Tide watch, but we'd done it only remotely. So we'd done the whole thing remotely through
lockdown, presumably.
Through lockdown, and we became friends, but it was more WhatsApp friends, not kind of. And so the three of us became friends. And then when I came to Watch and Wonders, Andrew, that I didn't realise how tall he was, came up to me and was like, And I can't do the.
Remind me to never meet him because being 5'6" and nothing, then that's probably going to make
Well, but I didn't realise how and this Australian accent came up to me and gave me a big hug, and he went, "Hey George, how are you?" And I was like, okay, this is cool. And then we did very impromptu. Adrian was sitting at a table, and it was totally impromptu. Hey, what's your views of Watches and Wonders? And the three of us came together. And if you watch that first video, it is hilarious because I'm meant to be going to a meeting with all the execs at TAG Heuer, and these guys are delaying me, and I'm like, guys, I've got to get off. I'm going. But anyway, we had the comments in there. There was one or two comments, and it said we should be together and we should be doing something together. So lightning bolt moment for all three of us, and I think it was kind of after Watch and Wonders, the week after, we just messaged each other and said, should we do something? And that was it. It wasn't like, oh my god,
so
this
really
is
organic. It wasn't.
It was totally. There was
wasn't
no
engineered.
There was no financial. There was no nothing. It was like, and the person that did the filming is the fourth member, and he said, okay, let's do it. And we thought, okay, first time. And I said, look, I've got a room. Why don't we do it? Andrew, when you're next over from Australia, let's do it.
And this is the very room.
This is the very room. And basically the whole thing was, and we said, let's film one and see what happens. Did it, and we started laughing. And then the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. And it just snowballed like that. And that was kind of the eureka moment, because we were like, wow. But everything was fresh. Came back for season 2, and it was just like, ooh, okay. And the thing is, you came into the reality of like, well, how do you keep it fresh? What do you do? And then I've just been to an event, and I was not George from Bamford Watch Department. I was George from About Effing. And
this shows the reach of it, though, doesn't it?
No, but this is the first time I've switched from being me to a journalist. And I was like, what moment am I'm like, where am I sitting? And and so for me, it's never. I'm saying to you is that on this it was one of those things that was a natural progression. It was never like, hey, we want to do this. And the thing is, that's what it's about. The community. You've got an amazing community that supports
I'm very lucky.
you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, when you have this community that loves you, we are only good with the community we've got, and we've got a really great tribe in our community, like you do. I mean, I'm shouting out your community, but you think about the messages that they do. You think about the comments, the love.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the thing that keeps you going. I really mean that. It's the thing that makes you want to sit in front of a camera and do this. Yeah. But it's really the success of About Effing Time is just amazing. And guys, if you haven't watched it, you need to subscribe to that channel.
You really do. No, but the thing I would say to you is, it's about love for watches, and this is where all of this community. You think about every one of us. We are at different points with different watch journeys. We're in different love affairs with watches, and that's where there is so much out there. When I started out, there wasn't. Yeah. I mean, I had a Hotmail account, so that was where I was on Hotmail with my email and how I started out my business. So what I'm saying to you is now we can have more.
You're showing your age now, George. You're going to tell me that you remember AOL now.
Yeah, I do. Actually.
But no, I think the secret of About Effing Time is that I think your personalities work really, really well. And it's quite surprising, the fact that it wasn't put together by Stock Aitken and Waterman. Because I was going to ask when your album's coming out, but yeah.
Those two can play guitars. I can't play anything. I literally play like this. But when we're in this room, it's quite, and this is a behind the scenes little thing. We have a speaker down there, and we put on rock music before we do it. And that for me is one of the things. We either put rock or rap. And it is as loud as we can make it just before the episode. And the only reason why is you see both of them playing air guitar, and you see me just going, and that's why we're up such a beat, because you have to be into doing that. And so that's a little bit of behind the scenes. But you're right. Why do we do it? Well, we do it because we love to.
Yeah.
And it was not. There was not manufactured, and it was just us going, hey, why not? You know, this is it's a cool dance, and we're having fun doing it.
Yeah, and look, you know, I'm certainly enjoying watching it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are too. George, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for allowing me to bring this back home.
It's absolutely awesome. And you're going to have some fun with the watchmakers.
Yeah, I mean, I've literally been talking to the guy who actually assembled this watch. So, you know, that's really pretty special, because I bet there aren't many people who get to say that.
Well, that's called a personal service. So
absolutely.
Thank you for coming, and keep doing you. I mean, you are a rock star, and you've got to keep going.
That's very generous, but certainly no plans to stop anytime soon.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks,
you guys rock.